Yo, man, what's your team? Mr. Bowman, can I say, okay, Mr. Napper? Well, today, man, we got the final 25 hours at Saddam. I don't know how you say his name, but let's get into it.
Baghdad, Friday, December 29th, 2006. Inside a tiny concrete cell, in a place few knew existed, Saddam Hussein woke up, unaware of what the men guarding him already knew. The Super 12, the elite unit assigned to watch over him, had been on edge for days, waiting. But now, something was different. Their supervisors had just been briefed. Things were moving. Saddam would soon leave the Rock, the island palace.
That's a prison? Doesn't even look like a... That's a prison? Is that prison still today, or is that not no more? Or is that like a private prison where they do it to where, you know what I'm saying, they're trying to... You know what I mean? Is that like a private prison, or is that a... I don't know. I don't know what... Who knows, man? Who really knows for real?
Turned prison, where he had been held in his final months, and be handed over to Iraqi custody. For most of the guards, it felt like a distant inevitability, something they had spent months preparing for, but weren't quite ready to believe. And yet, signs of the end were everywhere. His lawyers had come, his family had been allowed to visit, and just the day before, he had met with two of his half-brothers in a rare prison visit, a clear signal that something final was unfolding. But still, no one had spoken the words outright. Now awake, Hussein moved about his small space like any old man burdened by time, complaining about his back, stretching his limbs. For nearly 3 years, the U.S. soldiers had watched over him. They had guarded him, spoken to him, even laughed with him, and now, within hours, he would be erased from the world. The former dictator had ruled Iraq with an iron grip, his name synonymous with fear, war, and brutality. The 1982 Dujail massacre, the 1988 chemical attack on Halabja.
Wait, so what I'm not really familiar with him. Did he do... I'm pretty sure he probably did some to the U.S. to where they had to do... I don't know. But we're going to see right here. I'm trying to figure out if he did something. I don't really know, because in school, it's like we was never taught about him. So I don't, you know, I don't know. I'm new to this, like how you guys are, you know what I mean? For me?
His legacy was written in blood. Earlier, Saddam's defense lawyer, Najib al-Nuaimi, had speculated that the execution would take place on Saturday, December 30th, 2006. Now, that speculation was no longer just a possibility, it was a fact. The call had come. The Super 12 were officially informed. The execution would take place the next day. There was no more waiting, no more uncertainty. The mission was now a reality. Unaware that the order had already been given, Saddam had just finished what would be his final meal. He ate eagerly, savoring the lobster tails delivered from the Coalition Cafe at Camp Victory. Time had softened him in captivity. He had gained weight, once joking that he had grown fat like an American. Hours later, Saddam bid goodnight to the soldiers stationed just outside his cell. Their watch was quiet. After Saddam lay on his cot, the guards dimmed the light, their voices dropping to whispers to avoid disturbing him. Earlier in the day, Sergeant Battaglia had covertly sabotaged Saddam's transistor radio, ensuring he wouldn't catch wind of his looming execution from the news already reporting it.
What the... Wait, so he didn't know? Wait, so he didn't know? Wait. I feel like he... The scene he's talking about, it probably seems like he didn't know, to where they say he just changed his radio station to where he can't hear to the news that he's been executed. He probably know that part. That's crazy.
At 3 a.m. on Saturday, December 30th, 2006, First Lieutenant Andre Jackson stepped into Saddam's cell with his longtime interpreter at his side. Jackson, though trained as a military police officer, had never faced anything quite like this. They switched on the light and stepped inside. It's time, they told Saddam, explaining he needed to prepare for his execution, set to take place in a few hours. Aware of his dislike for being rushed, they gave him ample time. Saddam received the news with a calm detachment, almost as if he had been expecting it. "I've been sentenced to death before," he remarked, unmoved. For the interpreter, the moment was deeply personal. Over 15 months of close interaction, his dynamic with Saddam had shifted from that of translator and prisoner to what he later described as more of a friendship. Breaking the news, he would admit.
Friendship? I mean, that could happen. I mean, that could happen, but I mean, like, they say, well, he was a dictator of Iraq. You know how that is. You know, over there, you know what I'm saying? Them countries do not fuck with America. Especially Iraq. Niggas do not fuck with America, bro. Ooh, remember them days, man. No, man, like, I don't know, but I think it's just crazy how, like, you know, some people that are on death row, right? People that are on death row, and then they got to eat their last meal, and then they know that day, like, eat your final meal, and then they know, like, you know what I'm saying, that you got to get up out of here. Like, just imagine, like, you know, like, they get you on death row, you eat whatever you want, and then that's your time to go. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like, remember, it used to be the chair. Remember, it used to be the electrocution chair, but they took that out. Now it's the injection when they put it into your veins, and oh my goodness, that's, man.
It was the hardest thing he had ever done. Back in the United States, as President Bush retired for the night, his national security advisor, Stephen Hadley, delivered the news. Saddam Hussein would be executed within hours. In Iraq, the timing did not go unnoticed. The date fell on a sacred holiday for many of his supporters, fueling claims that this was more than just justice, it was a final act of humiliation. But for the new government, made up of those who had suffered under Saddam's rule, it was a long-awaited reckoning. Regardless of intent, one thing was clear: Saddam Hussein's time had run out.
Man,
at 3:24 a.m., Saddam Hussein requested to bathe using the sink in his cell.
That's the thing about the dictatorships, bro, in other countries. Some people love them, some people don't. All these countries, we all know they do crazy stuff. You know what I mean? It's I feel like they do that. I don't know. I feel like people really, the thing is with us humans, bro, I feel like people want power so much to feel like they're better than somebody. Same thing with police, all that. They want power. That's when we see the cops and all that abusing their backs because they want that power. They want people to bow down to them. You know what I'm saying? It's just, man, bro.
The man who had sown so much pain now appeared as nothing more than an old man washing himself for the last time. The Super 12, stationed nearby, occasionally glanced his way, but kept their distance, allowing him a final moment of dignity. Despite his history, reports suggest that the guards felt an unexpected sense of empathy, grappling with the weight of the moment. Calm but deliberate, Saddam prepared for his final act. A moment of frustration arose as he struggled to find the right pair of socks, prompting a few soldiers to search through his belongings until they found them. Despite the urgency of the morning, he remained composed, even pausing to ask if the guards had gotten enough rest before the mission ahead. Saddam sat quietly, taking stock of his few remaining possessions.
Yeah, that's how you know. If he being calm, that's how you know he just knew his time was up. He was just calm with it. Just imagine, just think about like your time is up. And I'm not talking about like the natural where humans are supposed to die naturally of old age. You know what I'm saying? Is you like death row, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was injection or whatever it was back then, 2006. I don't know if they're still doing that. Let's try back in 2006. Maybe, right? I don't know. Was it? Or was that literature? I don't know.
Old books, scattered papers, and a handful of suits. He leafed through his writings one last time, ensuring his final thoughts were in order. A man who had once owned palaces was now left with only this small, almost pathetic collection. After a moment, he called out, "My friend," as he always did when summoning a guard, and pressed his Raymond Whale watch through the bars, the one he often wore in court. The guard hesitated. Accepting gifts was against the rules. "I can't take this," he muttered. "I want you to have it." Saddam insisted. "You are a good friend." The soldier tried to protest, but Saddam smiled, clasping his wrist and sliding the watch onto it. "It's for you and me to know. I'm not going to tell anyone." Uncertain, the guard rationalized that accepting the gift would help keep the night calm. Saddam then selected one of his...
How did this person know that gave him the watch? How do you know that? If they didn't tell nobody, I'm confused. Unless I don't know.
Finest suits.
Unless the soldier said something, but
as he always did before
me?
public appearances. He drenched himself in cologne, so much that one soldier later quipped, "You could smell him from a mile away." By now, most of the Super 12 had gathered near his cell, dressed in full battle rattle. Noticing them, Saddam walked over, chest out, standing tall. His voice was steady. "You've become more family to me than any Iraqi has." He told them he would die like a soldier and thanked them for their kindness. One by one, he shook their hands. For the first time, soldiers noticed tears sliding down his face. After a brief
bro, if you know your time is up and you feel me, and you're on death row, I mean, come on, no, you're gonna have tears, but it just seemed like he just knew the time was up and time to go, you know what I'm saying?
Helicopter flight over a silent Baghdad and a cramped ride in the armored Rhino, the guards delivered the dictator to his final destination. The execution site was the former Istikhbarat military intelligence headquarters in Baghdad's Kadhimiya district. Once infamous for its torture chambers under Saddam's rule, the compound, now called Camp Justice, stood by the Tigris River, not far from where Saddam was born 69 years earlier. Security was impenetrable. An American brigade secured the perimeter, while Iraqi forces controlled the gallows. The Americans, under strict orders, would not step inside. It had to be clear this was an Iraqi operation. As Saddam stepped out of the armored vehicle, his demeanor shifted. Each step seemed to harden his resolve.
That's because he knew it was up. He knew it was time. It was up. Feel me?
His stoic acceptance buoyed by the pride of a man who believed he was dying for his country. One of the guards later reflected, "You can watch a million movies about someone facing execution, but seeing it in real life, knowing a rope will be wrapped around their neck and they'll die, it's soul-crushing." And then for him to thank us, it was like, oh my f***ing God. The guards waited outside, unable to see the gallows directly, but catching glimpses of shadows moving beyond the walls. The rope swayed in the cold breeze. As they stood in tense silence, one of them couldn't shake a single thought. Saddam's profound hatred of being hanged. Of all the ways to die, this was the one he dreaded most. Saddam Hussein was handed over to Muwaffaq al-Rubaiyeh, Iraq's national security advisor, a former Shiite Dawa party member who had once endured torture under Saddam's regime. Now, he was leading his former oppressor to the gallows. Inside, a judge read Saddam's indictments. Holding his Quran, he remained calm and unrepentant. As he was led to the gallows, Saddam paused on the steps, glanced at the setup, and remarked, "Doctor, this is for men." His dark overcoat, upright posture, and refusal of a hood set him apart from the masked executioners. For Saddam, this was the final scene of his life, a moment he had long spoken about. He embraced death with unflinching pride, attempting to rewrite the humiliation of his capture 3 years earlier. The chaos around him told a different story. Some of the Shiite officials present began chanting, "Muqtada, Muqtada," a reference to the Muqtada al-Sadr, the powerful Shiite cleric and militia leader who had fiercely opposed Saddam. The chant was meant to taunt him, a reminder that his enemies now controlled Iraq. Saddam smirked. "Do you consider this bravery?" He mocked. When someone shouted, "Go to hell," he fired back, "The hell that is Iraq?"
What?
The Super 12 sat in tense silence outside, the earlier rush of preparation fading.
So that seems like that was happy for him to die. That's damn. They probably hated him. Whatever he did, you can just tell they hated him, bro. That's crap. Damn.
To unease. Their mission was over,
I'm saying,
but
just
what
like
was
me.
happening beyond the walls felt far removed from the detachment of combat. Then, a sudden crash. For a moment, it felt like an explosion, shaking the walls and rattling their chests. Inside, Saddam was halfway through the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith, when the trap door was released. He hung for several minutes before a doctor confirmed his death at 6 a.m. Almost instantly, gunfire erupted outside, not an attack, but a chaotic celebration from those who had waited years for this moment. Saddam's rule was brutal, but did his execution actually make things better? Did it create more stability or more chaos? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe.
Y'all let me know what you think down below, bro. Bro, oh my goodness, bro. To get a rope tied around your neck and you dying like that is... man, that's kind of just... If we just imagine it, bro, like this... oh, man, that's... Hey, man, let me know what you think down below, man. We out.